We're now ready to export back from Mudbox to Maya. Now you might notice right now, I don't have anything in my Mudbox scene. It's blank in here because what I did is I closed out Maya and Mudbox and I reopened them fresh. So I'm going to open up my Mudbox scene. Recent files, here's my rabbit bust. I saved it as a mud file, and you'll notice here I got the same layers. You gotta be careful as you said, you notice it doesn't look like there's any sculpts there because I have to make sure it's selected. So if I just left click, there they all are. I did break it off into left and right side for the frown and all those ones. I go down to back to Maya, and I'm gonna open up Maya's scene again. Because a lot of times you're not working with them both open at the same time, and you can do link sharing back and forth, but when you do that, it has a tendency of generating a lot of extra history on the objects, because when we're done here, it is going to pop right back on to the best. Now my geo popped back up here, so I'm going to hide that. So this one, it will attach back onto it based on the name. So let's go back to Mudbox and let's do getting some prep for exporting it out. So for one thing is, we're going to need to go to File, Send to Maya, and there's a Preferences down here. And by default, I believe it actually sends the paint layers. I'm actually do not send paint layers because I'm not doing any texturing. And this is the big one here. It's default to flatten sculpt layers, and I want to export sculpt layer groups, and it's important when groups on current mesh level as my blend shapes. So that being said, I hit OK. Make sure it's selected OK. I have to put a group around all these. So I'm going to click my little group button, and I'm going to call this Face Blends. It's very important that you name this group because that's going to be the name of our blend shape node. And I'm going to bring this all the way to the top, and I'm just going to drag each one in. Boom, boom. Yep, one by one. Now, normally I wouldn't need my puff and all these ones, and it kind of put them in inverse order, which is fine. I don't need all my duals, my smile for both sides and things like that, but I'm going to leave them in there. So if I collapse it, that's what's going to go over. Okay, so I'm going to save this. And then I'm going to send this over. So I'm going to say File, Send to Maya. And I'm not going to do it as a new scene. I want to update my current scene. Now, even though that's not linked, this is really meant to update back and forth. It will still find the files find the model and everything. So I say update current scene. It says, oh, nothing's selected. Okay, it's good I talked about this. I need to select what I want to send back over. I don't need the eyes to go back over. So I'm going to go into my object list and go down and select my facial blend shape. Say File, Send to Maya, update current scene because Maya is currently open. And ta-da! There we go. And we got all our blend shape nodes. They popped in. But here's the really cool thing is, on the bust face blend geo, now I can click on it and I can click puff, and there's puffing. There it goes. So this will just be under Windows, Animation, Blend Shape. Now you see I'm actually clicking on it a couple of times, and that's because it's still linked to Mudbox. I don't need to open up Mudbox anymore. I don't have to leave this open. I'll just close it. Okay, and that will make things work a lot faster. I'm gonna change my orientation to horizontal. And now I can unclick and I can see, oops. I can see all these that they're working. Good. Good. There's right blink. Left blink. I would do the other eyelid there, smile on both sides. Good. Okay. So I would group these together. Command G. So I would make this a one-time thing. I got this all set. I'll make sure they're all good. And then I would come back because obviously then it's going to try to relink. When it relinks, sometimes it adds new history. So play around with it. I'd rather have you do it in one shot and bring them all back over. So this is going to be my face blends. Group. Put that under Geo group. And a mouse drag that right under. Okay. So now we're ready to actually finish off our blend shape here for our face rig. So you also notice it changed the shader on it, so that should not have messed the original one. So I'm gonna hide this. Actually, I can bring back my other geo. There we go. So now this guy is going to be our target right here. And if I'm gonna have all your corrective blend shapes and all those different types of things on the other mesh, and now I'm just gonna add these on to it. Now, I don't have correctives on this one, so I would normally do an add on here instead of an edit, but it's gonna be the same process of my target. And then I'm gonna command select my base. I'll go up to deform and blend shape editor. And this would normally be, I'd normally do instead with my character, I would say skin, I say deform, and I do edit, and I say blend shape add, and you'll see at the bottom right hand, it's still target, then the mesh, and then you would go through and pick what your actual blend shape node was. In this case, there is another one in there. It's not the right one. So let's go. I'm going to do a brand new straight blend shape. Okay, so I'm going to set this. I'm going to call this, say, bust, rabbit, bust, blends. Great. Good. Now I can hide this guy. Control H. So this is my target that everything is hooked into, and it is going to be funneling right in here. So all I have to do is turn that guy on all the time, and I have one main node that's coming into it. So I go in blend shape editor. Oops, not human IK. Blend shape editor. You see I have this one down here. I just turn this on all the time, and you can see I can just do my puff like that and my blinks like this. Now the important thing here is that when if I move my mesh, you'll notice that it's not doing anything. And that's because my blend shapes are turned on all the time. And I need to actually select my skin, go into my inputs. Now if you did this with correctives, you obviously do not have to worry about this, it's already done, but I gotta make sure my blend shape node is underneath my skin cluster, like that. And you see now it's moved. Those are his eyes, which is fine. And you can see his puff, it still works, puff. Let me hide his eyes now. I hit him before anyway. Wide. Blink, blink. There you go. Cool. And that's actually bringing back from Mudbox.